How y'all doing? Having coffee with Cullotta. Now, in the old days, I couldn't have got away with this shit. But now that they got this virus around, you can wear it. But being that I'm in closed doors, let me take it off so you can see my beautiful face, all right? And then I can put my cheaters on. You know the old cheaters? The glasses, which I don't need, but they're good to have. Now, I want to start this segment off by telling you that I got 2,800, views or whatever they call these things. I need 10,000. You got to hit that button. 10,000. I'll be so happy. Help me out here. Could you help me out? Don't forget. Enjoy this next segment, having coffee Cullotta. 10,000. Press that little bell. Or what is that? A little buzzer? Adam, what's that thing?
It's the little bell. Hit the bell.
Hit the little bell.
You'll be notified when there's new videos.
Did you hear him?
Okay.
Good. This way I can say my voice and tell you a lot of interesting shit today. All right? Chin down.
Okay, today, I'm sitting across the room from Frank. So I'm going to take off my mask so that you guys can hear me a little bit better. But we're physically distancing, okay? First question, Frank. This is coming from Gene Bone. That's his name. A video on Joe Gags would be ace.
Joe Gagliano.
Yeah.
What about him? What do you want? A video on him?
He said, I heard his son, nephew, grandson, not sure of their relation. Gary is one of the outfit's deadliest men for the past 40 years. Mike Magnafichi said Gary Gags was one of the gangsters he would be afraid of seeing on the streets. What do you think?
I know Mike Magnafichi, the father. He's got a son, though. I don't think he said that, actually, to be truthful with you. Gary Gags, he was the nephew of Joe Gagliano. He was an armed robber, a jewel thief. He's got a lot of money, the kid, from what I understand. But he was no hitman. As far as I know, I don't even know of an ant that he killed. If he was very good at it and very quiet. But I tell you what, I don't know any guys that feared him. And who else? What's next?
Okay, so this is from Philly Greensfield. I'm sorry. This is from JB. Okay. Would you please talk about Peanuts Panczko?
Panczko.
Peanuts Panczko.
Yeah, that was the Panczko family. You had Pops, he was a crook. You had Peanuts. You had another guy, too. I don't know his name. Yeah, I know Peanuts well. I stole with Peanuts. I didn't steal with Pops. He'd steal anything, Pops. Anything that was screwed down, unscrewed, he'd do anything. So Peanuts, the same thing. I call Peanuts a desperation thief. You know what a desperation thing is? When he can't, no other way of making money. He was a gambling degenerate to start with. He would pull the most ridiculous robberies you could think of. He loved to crash windows and steal the jewelry out. Broad daylight, fur joints. And he used guys. He was too fat to run up and break a window, so he always had guys with him. One of the guys he used, his name was a Polak. His name was Jerry Thomasek. And he used Joe Dalgino. I can't even think of his damn name now. Dalgeno. And he used a lot of guys. He even used me, okay? But everybody wanted to work with Peanuts. It was the fame. And do you want to know one of the biggest scores I went on with Peanuts?
Yeah, please.
We pulled a Brinks truck robbery in Norwich. I believe it was Norwich. The last stop of the day, the truck went to a rectory where the priests live. And they would pick up, I guess, the weekly receipts that they took in from the church. So Peanuts followed it and laid on it. And the only reason why he filled me in on the score is because I didn't live too far from there. I live in the Franklin Park. And when you pull a robbery like that, you got to get out of the area real quick. So he filled me in. I guess they needed me, and that's the only reason why, for the drop. So he told me about it. He said he had a money truck. And I thought, what do you mean a money truck? He's a Brinks truck. He said, are you in for it? You know, you live over here. Yeah, I'll do it. How much is there? He said, $500,000. That's a lot of money in cash. No jewelry. You know you're going to get $500,000. He says, here's how we do it. And we listen. He says, we're going to have 2 cars. He says, Jerry's going to be in one. He's going to be sitting in there with a high-powered rifle. You know, the whole thing was that we had to stick up these 3 priests in a rectory. Now, I'm going to hold you off on that. I'll get back to this story towards the end of the video. If you want to watch it, hang around. If not, hit the road.
Cullotta, Cullotta, grab your favorite brew. Ask a question, he'll answer it for you. The Mafia, the Mafia, the Mafia, the Mafia. You better hit prescribe if you know what's good for you. Drinking a cup of coffee with Frank Cullotta. He'll tell you a lot, cause he's Cullotta.
Okay, Frank, next question from Thomas Tierney. I went on your tour for my 50th birthday. Best present my wife ever gave me. Thank you, Frank. Question is, what music did you listen to back in the day, and who are your favorite bands and singers?
You know, I got to tell you, I was the oddball. I wasn't into music like with Elvis Presley and all. I thought it was corny. I like jazz, the blues. You know, we go to these nightclubs and stuff like that. But I was never a guy that really got involved with music. I don't know why. Like the radio in my car, the only reason why I put it on, back then you get squeaks and rattles. Even in a new car, I put them on to get the squeaks and the rattles. So what are the squeaks and the rattles? It's honest to God truth. But that's like I said, the blues, you know, jazz and stuff like that I listen to. Anything else?
Sure, Spencer Lanners. Hey Cullotta, thanks for the uploads. What's the most interesting way you ever made money while involved with the mob?
You know, that's hard to put a finger on, because everything I'd done was interesting with the mob, and the way I made it, it's very difficult. That's a difficult question for me to answer, be truthful with you. You might find it easy in your life. Everything was a challenge. Everything was difficult. Nothing was easy. Anything that came easy, there usually was problems that followed up on it right away. So that's the best I could do for you on that, buddy.
Okay, this is from Uncle Cecil. And by the way, thanks for all the questions, Uncle Cecil. Frank, thank you very much for answering the question about Tony and Barbara. Sorry to be a pest, but if I can ask a few follow-up questions that are related, it would be appreciated. These answers are closing the loop on a mystery for my family. Was Tony close friends with her husband, Rick Manzi?
Yes, not real close. Should I say they probably didn't hang out at nights, but they said hello and goodbye. Tony had a tight circle around him, so Rick Manzi wasn't involved in that tight circle. He was just, let's say, an associate, you know. That's about the best I could tell you about Rick. Tony didn't care for him either. He didn't like him at all because of the way Rick abused his lady. And Tony was supposedly her manager. What else?
Joe Lacosto. Great job as always, Frank. Thanks for answering all the good questions you get. If you had to relive your life again the same way as an outfit guy, what's the one thing you would do differently?
Well, I wouldn't be as soft-hearted, as easygoing to guys that I hang with that had no money, that were on their ass. That seemed to be my downfall in life. When I'd see a crook busted out, nobody would steal with him, I'd take him along. Because I had hard times too. And I always wanted to pick him up. And I just had compassion. And that's one of the things I probably would change. And I still have that bad habit right now. But I'm not a thief. If I see a guy that I like and he's got nothing, I try to talk him into doing the right thing to get his business going. A lot of them take offense at it. Corrective criticism. All right, what's the next one, sir?
So Joe Lacosta also asked, who killed Richard Caine and why? Whoever did it's already dead, so don't feel bad for saying it.
No, I don't. That I wrote. I'm not going to tell you on right here, but I'm gonna refer you. And I'm not trying to sell a book, but it's my last book, The Rise and Fall of a Las Vegas Mobster. I detail that out in that book. Did I know Richard Caine? Yeah, I know Richard Caine. Where did I meet Richard Caine? Cook County Jail. Prior to that, I met him when I had to take a lie detector test with him. He was some kind of a big shot on the state police or something, I forgot. He was connected to Willie Potatoes, Willie Dodano, okay? Now read that book and you'll find out who the killers were in that book. It details it all. Go ahead.
All right, Engineer 909. He said, Frank, did your crew ever steal from railroad yards? I'm a locomotive engineer. I used to see these guys throwing boxes off my train as I was switching. All of this was at the 59th Street yard. Had to be inside jobs because they knew which containers had the goods.
Yeah, of course. We used to get tips from, there's always somebody, a dispatcher or whatever they're called on the yards. That's from one of our neighbors, a friend or whatever. And they know what's on. They got bill of ladings. I think that's what they're called. And it tells you what products are in these boxcars. The numbers, it's right there, the numbers of the boxcars. So we just roll in there with a pickup truck with panel sides on it, pop the lock on the side of the door, jump up in there. One guy jump up in there, throw the boxes out into the truck. Yeah, we did a lot of that. That was very easy. Very easy. What else?
Frank, I have a question. I left it up here, but I don't see it anymore. I wanted to know if the outfit guys ever had beefs with crews from other families while operating in Las Vegas.
You know, we never did. It was well documented, well known, that we were the party of strength in Las Vegas, meaning the Chicago outfit. New York was here. New York, they didn't own or have any points in these casinos, although they did have their friends that worked in them, and like dealers and pit bosses and stuff like that. And of course, they did their own little stealing their way. I don't know how, I didn't care. Chicago, we had our skim, and you know, there's 4 hotels. So we were the power, and they didn't step on our toes, and we let them operate themselves. If they operated against us, of course, we'd have a little sit down with them. That never happened.
So, Frank, can we go back to the stick-up job at the priests and the armored car?
Sure we can. Well, when Peanuts ran that score down to me, he told me how he wanted it done, and it was rather easy. Jerry Tomasek, one of the robbers, was going to be in one of the work cars with a high-powered rifle, because if the guy in the Brinks truck wouldn't open up the door, he was going to shoot him with this high-powered rifle, which would have run right through that window, the bullets. I forgot what kind of bullets they were using that day. It's a long time ago. And there was going to be 3 of us that were going to go into rectory, and of course, Paul Panczko, Peanuts, he was going to be outside. And we went into the rectory. It was Joe DiArgento, Mike Joyce, and myself, and Frank DeLegge. We didn't all run at the door at the same time. What happened was we used Mike Joyce, which, by the matter of fact, he's still alive, from what I understand. He had a hat on his head that they wore to drivers. So he went up to the door. This was late at night. It was the last stop of the day. Knocked on the door. The driver looked over, he seen the hat. In other words, let me put it like this. When the driver got out of the truck, he went to the door, the rectory. He knocked on the door. The guy opened up the slot, the priest. The priest seen the hat. He opened up the door, he let the guard in. As soon as the guard came in, we jumped on him, okay? We tied him up. We put the priest down with him. Mike LaJoy put the guard's hat on his head. He went out to the truck with a bag, looking like there was money in it, over his shoulder. He walked to the window of the truck. He was a short guy, like the driver. He tapped on the window with his fist, like this, ping, ping, ping. The guard looked over, reached over. It was a 2-man truck, as I said. It was open through. Opened up the door. When he opened up the door, Mike presented his pistol. The guy put his hands up. Jerry Thomas, like he didn't know the guy had the rifle on him. He got in the truck, tied the guy up. Another guy jumped in the truck with a Frank DeLegge. Well, we got to move the truck. One guy, I stood back there with the 3 priests while they were tied on the floor. And the one priest looked up at me. He didn't actually look up. He says, "Son, God will forgive you. You can walk away. We've seen nothing. He forgives you, son." I said, "Thank you, Father." I said, "I don't want to hear it. What could I tell this guy?" I said, "You'll be fine." So they moved the car, and there's a cemetery attached to this rectory. So they moved the Brinks truck into the cemetery. And that's when Peanuts roll up with the other work car, and they start taking all the money out. Now, we had the back seat out of that car. It was a Ford. And they loaded the trunk, in the back seat, all loaded with bags of money from the truck. They didn't know if they were getting bags of checks, bags of cash, or what. But anyway, they were all pretty well stuffed. Then let that truck in there with the guy tied up in there. Proceeded with that truck with Peanuts following it with the money car to my house. And we had another car there, as I said, Jerry Thomas. Went to my house, drove it in the garage. Everybody went down in my basement, got everything ready. Peanuts didn't come in the house for a while. Joe D'Argento said, "Where's Peanuts?" I say, "He's still in the garage." He says he's watching the money. He's fuck that. He's that guy will steal a bag of money. I said, "What do we steal with him for if you got to worry about him?" He said, "You got to watch everybody, Frank. You can't." I don't know about Peanuts. So he went outside and he brought Peanuts in. And then I went outside and checked all around the garage. He didn't take anything. And then we started to count the money. And it took a lot of hours. I'd say it took maybe 6, 7 hours. Now, we were in the basement. My mother had no idea what was going on down there. My kid brother was too young. I don't know, maybe 16. And all the change we threw in a trash can. Not a big one, a trash can about that big. Who wanted the change? I wound up giving the change to my brother. Kid, with all this loose change, he put it in piggy banks and sold it through the week to the banks. We counted the money, come out to $366,000, close to it. Now, nobody wanted to take the money home with them. I had a stash. I had a hidden wall in my basement, specially made, not for this robbery. So even the cops couldn't detect it. You could detect when there's a hollow wall. I had this done correctly. And we put the shopping bags of money in there. There were shopping bags. But then there was 2 extra bags. And I said, "What's these 2 extra bags for?" He says, "Snuffy and Buffy." I said, "Who the fuck is Snuffy and Buffy?" He says, 2 guys. They work for the South Side guys. He says, Woody Potatoes and them, they get 20%. I shook my head. Here we go again. 20%. So that 2 shopping bags for each one of their bosses. They left their money. Snuffy and Buffy, whatever. I swear to God, I don't remember the names. That's the names they used. They picked up the bags the following day, I believe it was, and he's out there. Why do we didn't take the bags out there? Well, the neighbor was swamped with police after that robbery. It was a big robbery. Brink's truck, the priest. So the next day they took it out of there. And within 3, 4 days, they all went down, come by me and picked up a bag a day till they all had their money. And nobody got arrested or it went smooth. I think it was maybe 6 years later, I'm not quite sure. One of the guys, 3 of the guys ran a robbery in a Sears store. They were taking the money, and one of the employees went to fight with one of them, and he shot him. And I think they killed him. They didn't want to. And he got fingered. And I'm not sure if it was Joe D'Argento or Mike LaJoy. It was a long time ago. They rolled. They didn't want to get charged with murder. And the cops made a deal with them, and they give up the Brinks truck and everybody else. I did go to court on that because I had 3 other charges pending at the time. So I copped out like everybody else. What was they going to give me? I cop out, you get less time. So I got 6 years with that. And I don't know what happened to the other. A couple of the guys went to the witness protection program. I don't know. Peanuts got a little time. Everybody got a little time. And that's the end of that score with Peanuts. I did do another one with them, but they were grabbing people at check cashing places. You get your check and the company puts a guy there to cash them for you and he gives you the cash. So we used to grab them. Peanuts and scars. Those are desperation robberies. And then a jewel crash. We crashed the jewelry store downtown off of Wabash Street. The window, that was crazy. That was insanity. Drove on a sidewalk with the car. And I said, this guy's he's a wild man. That's what I said. So I stopped stealing one. Hey, purchase this cup. Hit the button. So you got several designs now. That's going to be there. Having coffee with Cullotta. Thank you so much. I'll be back in a minute, or the next day, or the following day. Assoluta.